welcome to the Salt Block. We're moving right along in our partnership series, and today we're going to talk about saddling. Saddling and bridling is going to set you and your horse up for a great ride when done with some tact and doing it like partners. So today we're going to talk about that, and also some extra tips on knots and how to tie up your latigo and your cinches so that everything is snap your fingers ready. So before I go and put the saddle on, I'm going to see if I can get my horse mentally engaged in this task. I never want my horses to feel like I'm doing anything to them, but that we're doing things together. So to set that up, I'm going to see if Martini here wants to go and smell and even investigate or chew on the saddle. This is a really important step because it's going to show you if there's any sort of fear or tension with the saddle. If your horse can go up there and calmly sniff the saddle and even be a little curious, you know that you have a green light to put on the saddle. If they're completely disinterested or even afraid of it, then you might have some work you need to do beforehand. So my horse has made contact with the saddle. She's curious and confident with it. So now we're going to go for it. To start, I'm still going to let her sniff the pad if she wants, and same with the saddle as I put them on. Here we go. So it's really important to put the saddle pad a little bit in front, like I did, and then let it rub back so that all of the hairs go in a comfy direction and she doesn't have any hairs ruffling or getting pushed the wrong direction while we're riding. So I'll do the same thing with the saddle, see if she wants to sniff it. And then my goal is to put the saddle on like I would put on my hat. Nice and smooth, not, which is how most people put on the saddle. Alright, not too interested. So what I'm going to do is plant my right foot, which is closest to her, and I'm going to give myself 3 big swings, and on the third one I'm going to look up and over and set it down nice and smooth like I would put a hat on. 1, 2, 3. Make sure my pads and everything are lined up. You may be wondering why I'm saddling from the wrong side. The reason is my cinches are here. So instead of me having to walk back and forth a couple times, now I can just let my cinches go and I have bypassed an extra step. Before I do up my cinches, I want to make sure that the pad and saddle are in alignment and that everything is nice and straight. Now I have a Pirelli saddle and pad here, which I highly recommend, and it gives me some good pointers. So I have a line here in the back of my pad that I need to make sure is lined up with the middle of my saddle. In the front here, I have this nice strap that I want to lift up in there so that it's not flat and putting a lot of pressure on her shoulder. To grab your cinch, I want you to keep your feet here and just reach with your left arm under to bring the girth up for you. And we're going to put the latigo through and undo it with this slip knot that I have. Makes it really easy. Now this is just my first tightening. I am not going to put it as tight as I would need it for riding from the get-go. That's not comfortable for the horse, and I want her to have a good experience and not be physically uncomfortable. So I'll do it just snug enough that if something were to happen, the saddle's going to stay on top and not roll under. As I warm her up or just, lead her to the next spot, I can give myself an opportunity to tighten it again. All right. So front cinch is good. Reach for our back one the same way. Keep ourselves in a safe position. And the back cinch should be snug. You want it to be flush with the horse's belly so that if something crazy happened, there's no way they could get a hind foot stuck in it. So I'll probably tighten this one more hole before I get on. You want it to be right up against their belly. So when we're taking the saddle off, everything's kind of reversed. Put the stirrup up, undo the back cinch first, and then as we do the front cinch, we're going to put our latigo up in that slip knot so that it's nice and tidy and ready for us tomorrow. Put my left hand here, take my right hand and fold it up. So I'm going to make a loop that comes through there and pull it down. Now I have 2 loops like that, and if we want to secure them, you can take the tail, bring it over the front, and then up and through, tighten it like that. It looks great, and then tomorrow when you go to get your cinch, snap your fingers ready. We've got our latigo nice and tidy. Now let's put our cinches up in a way that's going to make tomorrow easy. Take our back cinch and put it through the front one from behind. Then we're going to take the back cinch and put it through the keeper here. And that keeps everything together, hanging nicely, and it's ready for us to take down any moment. Now you may have noticed through this whole process, I've had the lead rope over my elbow. It's a great place for it to be. It's a little bit overwhelming if we have it in our hand while we're trying to do up the latigo and the cinches and everything. But if you can keep it over your elbow, even if something were to go wrong, all you have to do is reach down and you have a hold of your horse. The best thing you can do for your horse is to practice without them. Find a fence or an arena rail to get the swing of things and make sure that the technique and everything is making sense. I'd also encourage you to practice on both sides. So practice swinging it from the right side and the left side so that in any situation you can saddle your horse safely. Alrighty, so to get that nice smooth swing that I did on Martini, I need the saddle to be flush against me. So the inside here is kind of hugging my hip. And I keep it there with my left hand here and the outside hand holding the outside of the cantle. Okay. Now we'll go over the same technique I talked about with Martini. Plant my foot that's closest to my horse, and I'm going to use a count of 3. So we'll swing 1, 2, 3, and set it down nice and gently.